What advice would I give to my younger self, my 20-year-old self? This is a loaded topic for me because in my 20s, I was not in a position that I would have accepted that advice, whether it be given by myself in learning something or from someone who is older and wiser than me. I would not have been in a position to necessarily listen to that because I'm so stubborn that I have to find my own way. I've often known the way and the correct thing for me to do, but I also know in my heart and in my mind and in my body and my soul that I'm not ready to do that thing. In my 20s especially, I had an idea in my mind of the type of Jennifer, the person that I was supposed to be. And I was so fixated on that, it kind of manifested in, frankly, an obsession with self-improvement and fixing and critiquing myself to the point of, like I said, obsession. And there is a point I learned where this self-improvement is to a detriment because that becomes all I was doing, was looking at things about myself that I could fix. In that endeavor, if you can call it that, I was having to sacrifice my time, effort, and energy to put towards other things. I was trying to measure up to this ideal in my mind of what I should be doing, this expectation. And that's why I say that I live now without having expectations, because I learned that lesson, a very important lesson, that having expectations, especially unachievable, impossibly unrealistic expectations of myself, which is what I had, that is not only unrealistic and unachievable and unsustainable, but while I was living in that bubble and in that mindset, I was scared of living my life, really. I was scared of doing other things that I might not be good at. I just had a rigid mindset about everything. I was standing in my own way. So my presuppositions and preconceived notions of myself were blinding me to a point that it was blocking my success. And I had to let go of that. I had to let go of that rigid mindset, that rigid behavior. That rigidity kept me stuck in my own way. So it's almost like I saw the doorway and I saw the path, but I was standing in the middle of the doorway myself. So how am I supposed to walk through the doorway if I'm just blocking it? That's not helpful. And I did that for many years. I was afraid of many things, but I was afraid of, for instance, being vulnerable. I was afraid of being myself. And when I say that, I mean that right now, at 37 years old, I'm not completely 100% comfortable 100% of the time, and I feel awkward every day in my interactions. I feel awkward at work still. You name it. I mean, I feel awkward doing this still, YouTube. It scares the crap out of me, but I'm doing it, and the way that I have found success in doing it is I'm letting myself just be. I'm trying to not stand in my own way. Well, I'm not trying. I'm so far, it might be arguable whether what I'm doing is successful or not, but that aside, I am succeeding in the doing. And that's what's important to me now. Even if I do something badly, I'm still doing it. So I like to give myself credit where credit is due, because in the past, I would prevent myself, or I would avoid even doing anything at the mere thought of failing, or quote unquote failing, because that fear of how I'm going to potentially feel if I don't succeed, that would become an obsessive, anxiety-ridden fear of mine to the point where it crippled me and it paralyzed me from taking any action. I think the biggest lesson I've learned since then, and what I've been doing definitely in my maturity now, is that I have learned that anything worth doing is worth doing badly first. So before I become good at something, I don't even want to master a certain skill. It would be great if I do, but I don't even think that far ahead or that ambitiously, and I don't have that expectation. I simply want to do, and I'm not saying that I have this infinite wisdom, but I do have the wisdom of now I approach things like this. And I say to myself, Jennifer, even if, or especially if you start doing this and it is very bad at first, you do this thing very badly, poorly at first, that is part of learning how to become good at it. You have to go step by step. That was the thing that when I thought about this topic, that was the major thing, that don't be so scared to do something that you might be bad at. In fact, welcome it and remember that anything worth doing is worth doing badly first. That's the moral of my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now I live my life in a way that is more free mentally and emotionally, and as long as I keep my focus, I seem to be headed on a positive path. And even my failures I celebrate. I didn't used to do that. I used to get very disappointed in myself, and then I would give up completely, or I would self-sabotage. And that's another lesson that I learned. Allowing myself to fail and also allowing myself to succeed. That's one lesson I'm still learning with the help of my loved ones' support, is letting myself feel open to the possibility and potential of my success. Success can be intimidating and a fearful prospect. It can bring about some anxiety, and personally it makes me anxious, but that is not a reason to give up a goal. Realizing and recognizing your potential and envisioning success for yourself can be scary, but it can also be motivating and thrilling. Like this YouTube channel, for instance, for me, is a very good example of that, a perfect example of that, actually. And I think that's a good note to end on. I wish you all well. I hope you're well watching this wherever you are. I will see you in my next one. Thank you as always for watching. Bye.